closing my brand is probably going to be the most important thing I could do ever, and going to be way more important than anything I could make right now, is letting people watch somebody do it and like be alive.
Going through this must have been very difficult.
It's like asking someone to die and give birth at the same time.
If you had to do it again,
please no.
Again.
Or, I don't know.
Would you start a brand?
I'm exhausted in brands talking to me, trying to make me feel something, convince me of something.
What is Mara Hoffman?
So I locked myself in that apartment and I didn't come out until I made everything. I made everything by hand.
And you produce it by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did everything. I cut it, I sewed it.
How did you came across fashion?
It's like, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. Like, that's such a vibe. It's such like a low frequency to always feel that you don't have enough to do the thing. When you really deeply believe your value, like you believe in yourself in that way, the world starts to do that too. The planet never is going to be able to recover without the humans doing that first. Like, the humans need to become well in order for the planet to become well.
And what do you say to your kid?
About AI?
Yeah.
Stay connected to nature as everything speeds along. See, it's almost built to disconnect us from it, so our reliance goes into that, and then they run it.
Hello everybody, thank you for listening to The Bold Way. Today I am with Mara Hoffman. Is it the right pronunciation, Mara?
You've got it.
Yeah, I got it. So happy to be with you today. It's been a while. I've been not chasing you, but I've been looking at what you were doing. I mean, since like it sounds like forever, you know. So I'm very happy to have this conversation today with you, to come back on your whole pathway up to today. Where are we today?
We're at my house in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York.
Williamsburg, Brooklyn. For the people who don't know you, who never heard about you, and they don't know what you do, etc., what you've done before, and to push them to stay here until the end of this episode, that's gonna last an hour and a half, 2 hours. What are we gonna learn? Who you are, what you do?
Big question. Well, who am I? I am a designer. I'm an artist. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. Human being. What do? I create. I spent 24 years running a clothing brand that I put my whole, most of my adult life into. And I ended that brand, about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in a very new part of my life.
This episode you're watching or listening to was filmed in New York City. This New York chapter of Bold Way was made possible by my partner, La Compagnie. I had the chance to fly with them on the Paris-New York route, and honestly, it completely changes the way you travel. It's a 100% business class experience, much more intimate, much more comfortable, designed so you arrive rested and in great shape. What I particularly loved was how seamless the whole experience is. Lounge access before the flight, fast boarding, high-speed Wi-Fi the whole way, seats that turn into real beds. You can really work, sleep, or just enjoy the flight. And even on board, everything is thought out in detail. The food is made with chefs, the menus change with the season, and honestly, I've never eaten so well on a plane. In fact, La Compagnie is the official airline of the French national soccer team for the World Cup in the US. That's saying something. And since you guys are life's athletes too, treat yourselves to athlete-level conditions. To find out more, go to lacompagnie.com. And thanks again to La Compagnie for making this series possible.
And the brand was holding. What do you say? It was your name, right? Mara Hoffman, right?
Yes.
It's something, no? To end such a brand.
It's something.
Before coming on this process of closing a brand, where are you from? Where you were born? Or you were raised, etc.
I was born in Buffalo, New York, which is Western New York. And my father was a classical cellist in the Buffalo Philharmonic, and I was raised there and started coming to New York to go take summer classes at Parsons, where I ended up going to school. And I studied fashion design there and graduated with a BFA in, I'm going to tell everyone how old I am, in 1999. And started my company the summer I graduated from
right
school.
away.
Right
Really?
away.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was your dream. How did you came across fashion?
I don't think I ever really dreamt so specifically. I knew that I would be involved in it and be a creator from a very early age.
Yeah.
Like from childhood, I was so drawn to it and making things and connected to it. And I grew up as a dancer. I've danced my whole life. So there's always been this line between particularly women's bodies, movement and creation and how that kind of plays together. So I knew early on that those were very important parts of who I was. And then I think as I was getting closer to figuring out school and what I was going to do, it was like, okay, there is this is an option. I can go to school and learn fashion and put myself into that. And then towards the end of school and graduating, I was a little bit confused as to where I belonged in the industry. And I knew that I really didn't belong in a very commercial way at all. I didn't want to go and work at a big brand and do those things.
You've done the internship, no?
Yes, I did 2 internships. Yeah. Interestingly enough, I spent a year at Parsons, Paris, and that year I interned with XULY.Bët.
XULY.Bët.
Yeah, which is run by a French-African incredible designer and so amazing through the 90s. I think he might still be running the line, but anybody who's been in fashion
in the 90s
and 2000s would know XULY.Bët.
Yeah.
And so I would go, I forgot the suburb, but I would take the train, and he was sort of my first teacher on this other approach to making clothing, which was really about upcycling and taking things that already existed and turning them into new things, which at the time there was no language for. It wasn't like what we talk about in the world now around sustainability.
Yeah.
No, it was just like, okay, so I sat in his studio and I would just sit on this machine and re-sew dresses for him. And then when I came back to New York, I took an internship with this other artist designer named Elisa Jimenez, who came from sort of the same philosophy of very much more of a hybrid art fashion. Yeah. Everything was made by hand. She'd take measurements on the fabric by wetting her, spitting on her finger and pushing it. And instead of tape measures, she'd use hands, 1 palm, 2 fists to the center, very this counter education to what I was learning in a very classical training at Parsons.
Right.
So I was really lucky to have this balance of an alternative perspective, which would end up really becoming so much of a part of how I saw fashion and created. So interesting. But to your question about knowing, I really didn't. And when I graduated, I was a little whoa.
What should we do now?
Yeah.
And you start your brand.
Well, I was always making clothes. I had this little studio apartment, probably the size of this, but in Manhattan, on 28th and Lexington, above a restaurant called Curry in a Hurry, this Indian restaurant. And I would make everything. So I was always making my clothes through college, and I was making clothes for friends. And a lot of my friends at the time were stylists, and it was the beginning of this new wave of celebrity, Britney Spears, Jennifer Lopez. It was a little before Beyoncé. Kind of the birth of that movement. I don't know how old your listeners are, but we kind of went through this blast of what celebrity looked like in this really punched way. And so there were still music videos.
But what was it before that, before this celebrity movement? I mean, the celebrity were.
I think it was talent. It was more based, on a little bit more or less celebrity driven. It started to become the time of famous for famous.
Yeah.
Even though these people were all artists and musicians, it was the very beginning seeds of how we started to celebrate celebrity a little bit differently than the way I think we celebrated amazing musicians, incredible artists. It became a little bit more of a packaged experience.
Okay.
Maybe that's the way to explain it. Yeah, I have to think about that. But, when you think back, like if you look at the line of celebrity and how it has gone through these changes and how society relates to it and became one with it and worshipped it, and then maybe is a little bit of coming out of that now, or a little disillusioned by that perhaps now, because it's been so, it's like we're all recovering from the Kardashians now. A little bit, I mean, hopefully. Or having some counter, and we can get to that. I think it's a...
No, but when you look at, I don't know, I'm thinking about Timothée Chalamet today. I mean, I'm sure he's got plenty of stylists with him, designing the personage, etc. And back in the days before the 2000s, maybe it was more natural. I'm thinking about Nirvana, for example, or those people were wearing what they were wearing because they loved it. That's it.
Sure. Yeah, and I feel like an experience like Nirvana, we were like lucky to be able to be voyeurs of them making music. In a way, it felt like that. Like we could see in, and lucky to get a music video or see them perform somewhere live, but it wasn't like shoved down the throat of like, this is who you're supposed to love. And we got to witness artists a little bit more voyeuristically, perhaps. I don't know. But anyways, I was making all these clothes, and I was taking them to a friend's store in Nolita, a little area in New York City, downtown, to put on consignment in a store. So what that means is you put them in the store and you get paid when the piece sells. So instead of the store buying it all from you up front, when a dress sells, they send me the money for the dress. And so I was making money that way, and I'd make these one-of-a-kind things, and I would bring them. And on one of those trips, I walked in, and there was this amazing woman in there who a lot of New Yorkers, older New Yorkers know who she is. Her name is Patricia Field, and she had these incredible stores in New York, and she was sort of like the mecca for like club kids and independent designers and drag queens and sort of the like fringe New York City club scene, very creative. And she was there with her partner, and she was working on this new television show. She was going to be the stylist, and she liked what I was wearing, and she asked what was in my bag that I had brought, and I showed her the things, and she bought the whole bag for $250, and she was styling this new show called Sex and the City. Right? So she bought the clothes. Nobody knew what it was. We were like, okay, cool name, Sex and the City. And the next day, her buyers for her 2 stores that she had called, and we set up an appointment, and they came to my little studio like this, full circle. And they came and they sat on my little futon on the floor, and I had the piles of clothes, and I just like did a show for them. And I put on everything, and I took off everything, and I put on everything, and they placed an order for $5,000, which was huge. So this is 1999. And that was the very beginning of my business. I locked myself in that apartment, and I didn't come out until I made everything. I made everything by hand.
And you produced it by yourself? Wow.
I did everything. I cut it, I sewed it, I dyed it in my bathtub. I would do all these dyes in my bathtub. This one time, the people from the restaurant came up pounding on the door. They were like, our walls! And this purple dye had dripped from the tub down the walls of the restaurant.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it was like... and I did a lot of batik, like the wax resisting painting, and would peel the wax off and boil them over a little stove. It was a very, very artistic, hands-on beginning. And that was the very beginning.
Yeah. What was your style? I mean, it's been your style?
In a way, I think, I've kind of always come back to it being an artistic expression. There have been way more commercial times of history of the brand,
of course,
but that was the beginning, and it gave me this confidence to start to, first of all, to understand that there was an alternative path, and that it wasn't just about having to go and work in one of these really established fashion brands and sit at a desk and draw shirts all day or draw the pants all day, and that there was this way that I could maybe form attempt, and that's what I did. I would go to stores that I liked in New York with a bag of clothes, and I'd say, "Oh, give me 5 minutes. Can I meet your owner?" And it was usually the person working there, and I would.
You were very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I had nothing to lose at the time. It wasn't like, so what if someone said no?
Yeah.
At this point, I guess I was about 22, 23.
Yeah, nothing to lose, of course.
So it was like, okay, great. And if they said no, I'd go back the next month and say, hey,
it's me again.
And it worked. And I was able to make enough orders that kept me paying my rent, kept me eating, kept me doing my things. And then that grew and grew and became so many different versions.
Yeah.
But that was the very beginning.
All right. Tell me about those different versions. I mean, 22 years, right?
24 years.
24 years. Wow.
I know, right?
From this very project by yourself to the structuration of a brand. As you said, the brand had several lives. Can we go through all those different moments?
So it went from that. Is the noise okay?
No, that's fine. It's cool. It reminds me of my children. I miss them.
Okay, so it went from that, a few years of just a very solo operation, maybe one assistant here, an assistant there that would come in, sit in the apartment and make things with me, to ultimately I kept going with that way, then ultimately finding someone who could cut and sew the garments in New York City, which was my orders became bigger, it was an impossible thing for me to do all on my own.
Yeah, of course.
So I would have this woman in Midtown in the garment
districts,
and so she would cut and sew, and then I'd bring those pieces back. I'd carry these huge bags. The amount of stuff I carried, it's wild. I almost wish I had a photo for all of the things that I've carried through New York City, like bags on my shoulders, rolls of fabric down the street, all of it.
A brand is heavy. A brand is very heavy. I mean, I mean, I've got a brand as well, and
with your things, you have to carry your things, carry your equipment.
But a brand, especially, you've got so many things to carry. It's crazy when you're doing your pop-up, your whatever.
It's like the ultimate, we call it schlepping.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate schlep job where you're just like, I can't believe I have to carry all this. I've got to bring all of this stuff and set it up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not glamorous.
No, not at all.
No, it's like the opposite of that. So I found someone who could make the pieces, and then I would do all the dyes. I had moved into a studio, so I wasn't doing it. I went through a few apartments where I was still doing it in, and then I finally got my first studio, which was amazing, where I had a big sink, and I had like the setup for all of my dyes and a way to like run my operation. And then I think what happened is I just got so tired of carrying the things back and forth to laundromats, to wash the dyes out, to scrub the wax out, to do all this work. And I was sitting actually in the backyard of this house. My husband and I think were just maybe married. Oh no, we hadn't been married yet. We were still dating or together. Probably had moved in here. And I was sitting in the backyard and I was doing this painting on a piece of stretched silk, and I painted these leaves. And I was like, oh, that's a print. Like, I could maybe have this printed into yardage and release myself from the laundromat and the life of the weighted clothes. And so it really was the next step. So I found this place in New York they were doing prints in Asia. I think it was in Korea first, and they would print on silk, and then I would get the yardage, the rolls of fabric here, and bring it to Midtown and have my dresses cut and sewn. So that was like a huge jump off where I was able to scale and not do everything by hand.
Okay, but was like year 1, 2, 3 or
5 maybe.
Maybe 5. Okay, so for 5 years you carry it.
Yeah,
and you did it all by yourself.
Years. Yeah, maybe like this.
All right. And you were presenting the collection to the buyers. It was like structured like that.
Yeah,
already,
I had showrooms, in and out of showrooms during the time I was doing shows that were very.
You were doing shows.
I was doing art, like these shows that were really. They were more like like dance performances. I would do drum circles and like very kind of interactive. But you've got to, it's a very different time for fashion. Like that late 90s, early 2000s, it embraced that kind of cross-section of art fashion very differently than the way that we see like shows in fashion now.
Yeah, today it's super professional. Super...
This was like, New York was a different thing. We were all kind of creating in a different way. The original name of the brand was called Circle, and I would just sew these like lavender, a stamp of a circle on a little piece of a square fabric, and it would go in the back. So I didn't even put my name into it. It was just this idea too that everything was...
It was more an artistic project.
Yeah, it was a brand. So not a brand. We didn't even use the word brand. Like there was no brand
way.
is a newer word.
It's
also.
a bad word.
But it's not a bad. But it was like brand came in later. Brand. This was
a project.
A project. It was a line. It was a collection of clothing. It was an offering. It was community.
Who were your hero in fashion at the time?
Well, I'm from the 90s, so I think my first like fashion loves were Margiela and Vivienne Westwood and Gaultier and
Chalayan and that kind of people.
Yeah, this is where I was like, it came to life from understanding fashion and seeing it, being like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And then even meeting the people that I was working for and doing those internships, they opened me up to this other kind of, oh, there's a different way to work this.
Yeah.
But I've always really loved fashion.
Yeah.
Like I've loved paying attention to it and seeing it. I pay attention to it a lot less now.
Still?
Not as much. No.
Okay.
I mean, I look, and I think in these past few years of also closing the brand, I've been like, whew, I'll take a glimpse. And also, I mean, I see it in my Instagram feed. So like anything I feel that is meant to get to me gets to me.
Yeah.
But
of course.
So
after 5 years, you find you discover the print.
So we discover the prints, and that opens up the market too, and it becomes this other thing where I move to another showroom, and the business really changes. It starts, department stores and really big orders.
Prints. It's because of print.
The prints. People love the prints, and
they were really good.
They were good. They were different for the time. They stood out. People, I don't know. They were excited by them. They felt like they needed this in the world, I guess. And so I had a voice, and it was separate from what was happening. So that worked. And then
you were excited?
Yeah, I feel like I was always excited when I would see these growth periods.
Yeah.
When I would see something come out of me that was responded to and that really worked, and to watch it was hard. It was always like the through line of the entire 24 years was always like, always trying to make it work. Through the entire 2.5 decades, I never took an investment. I never took partnership. I never took money.
Wow.
So and so everything that I did through this time was like...
How did you manage it? Because it
was a dance. It was like...
almost impossible today.
It's almost impossible. Lines of credit from banks, factors. So for those that don't know factors, it's they kind of insure your orders as a designer. And so they can also pay you up front if you can show them your order from a store. Like if I had an order from Barney's and I would go and say, okay, this is an order for $10,000, but I can't afford to produce, I can't afford to buy the materials.
Yeah.
They would take that, and then they would advance it to me, and then I'd owe them on top, but like a percentage.
Okay.
So, but I would get the money ahead of time so that I could actually be in business. Okay. So I worked every system. I worked that. I would work any kind of like small business loans I could get. It was always that though, like to the end. It was always this,
distance,
like you'd borrow from here to pay for here, and then you'd have to get it from there. And it was just, it was my least favorite part.
Yeah, and in terms of distribution, it was showroom. Were you doing the Parisian?
I would come to Paris.
Yeah.
Once I started with the prints, I was coming to Paris. I was doing, what was the show in Paris? Now I'm forgetting. I was in a showroom for a few years.
Yeah.
Ana Luisa,
in New York?
In Paris.
In Paris, okay.
That was in Paris.
Okay.
And I remember one year, I don't know if the store is still here, but I remember like the ultimate gold store is L'Éclaireur.
L'Éclaireur, of course, L'Éclaireur, yeah.
And just...
Still around.
It's still around.
Yeah.
So this was, maybe...
The place to be, of course.
16, 17 years ago.
It was before Colette then, right? No, Colette was there.
Colette was there.
Yeah.
And so like those were the two stores that you could, and I don't think we ever had anything in Club, but like we did one season maybe at Leclerc. And it was like, that was the time. And Paris was just such a different beast than New York and than the US market. And the way that people would buy, it was much more thoughtful. It was smaller. It was a very different approach, as is, just a European approach to all things versus an American approach.
But it's always the thing, when you're French, for example, for me, the US is like the El Dorado, this is the big market. They are buying like crazy. I mean, there are 300 million people
here,
more, and they are buying a lot. The Americans are buying a lot. So it's always, the objective to come on the American market to make money. I mean, to breath.
I guess, yeah. And I think the opposite of that a bit in the position of having a clothing brand, that to have the appreciation and the acknowledgement and the buy-in from a European market was something so special and something we all wanted.
For an American brand.
Of course.
For an American
to be like, I show in Paris.
Yeah. And they accept me. Yeah.
Yeah, I have European customers. It was a mark of elegance and elevation that was harder to, New York, or maybe New York and maybe a few stores in LA. Of course, there are beautiful stores all over the country. But it was a real mark of showing up to have European accounts. So it's like the flip.
Yeah, it's so funny. So
So we did the prints.
Yeah, you did the prints.
And then I launched swimwear, which really shifted the trajectory of the brand. And I did that in 2008.
Okay.
So
it was 8 years in business, 9 years in business.
And I had...
You remember the figures?
Say it again?
How much sales turnover you were making at the time?
What was I doing?
1 million, 2 million, 10? Something in between.
Maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Something like that. Still so scrappy and still, small teams, always small teams. We launched Swim, and that really grew the business. And it also grew the audience. Like, people started to really pay attention to the brand through the swimwear.
How do you explain that?
Well, at the time, before we launched it, it was a kind of very boring market. Like, the people that were doing swimwear, it was like an older customer. There weren't many lines that were doing swim.
Okay.
Maybe like Victoria's Secret, and then a line called Gotex, which was just like an older sort of serious customer. There wasn't this real like statement in language in that part of the business.
Okay.
So,
Erez maybe? No?
Erez, yes.
But it was like
again,
super expensive.
Elevated, expensive French.
Okay.
And in the U.S., there was
nothing.
And even as like that was a very, that's not a broad customer.
Yeah,
that's somebody who's going to spend $300 at that time, more now, on a bathing suit. And it's still such a beautiful brand.
Yeah.
Like, I remember thinking too, because I made so many bathing suits and just being so excited. I was like, when I stop doing this, I'm finally going to buy an Erez bathing suit. I still haven't. But I was like, I'm finally going to get someone else's bikini.
Yeah.
Cool. So
you want a Erez? They are listening to us, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready for my first.
All right. Please, envoyez un maillot de bain à Mara.
Please. So
c'est Philippine, I think. Philippine is in charge of that. She's a pure
perfect
Philippine.
I'm a big fan. So the swim was amazing, and I think also because it really came out at this time where I gave it so much identity. It was like super bohemian, really psychedelic.
Yeah.
Like it had this very specific way, super print out there, like eyes on it, pyramids, very ethnic in a way, for better or for worse. But it looked like nothing else at the time, and people loved it, and it boosted my business. And so a lot of people then just thought that I was a swimwear brand, or thought that swimwear had always been first, but really it had been ready to wear always.
And you double, you triple, your...
Probably doubled for sure.
Wow.
Well, no. Let's say I was maybe at like 6 at that time, not 8. So more like 6. I could have doubled at that point.
Yeah, cool.
Swim was like a business.
Wow.
And let's see, then we're going, and then we get to...
But you get copied, no?
So many copies. The whole business was always copied. Things were copied. I still see copies.
Yeah.
So, sort of part of it. I could go after it when I could go after it, and things I couldn't do. It was such a part of it. I think anyone who does like such identifiable work or print-based work, it's like a part of it. So we always had, one IP lawyer that was constantly busy.
But did you won sometime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. But it's a lot of money.
Or at least you'd get people to stop doing it. But it was never like we made a ton of money suing people. No, it was more of a headache, and we'd pay lawyers, and not fun. Not a fun part.
Not good vibe.
Not a good vibe. Yeah, it always felt bad.
Yeah.
But also, so then there's like 2008 around this time too, where things economically went crashed. It was a really bad time.
2008, yeah.
2008.
Of course.
So
subprime, yeah.
It was awful. And so at this time I was working in silks, like everything was silk and the ready to wear, and silk prices skyrocketed.
It's super expensive.
Yeah, it's like gold or silver. Silk is a commodity in that way. So when things, that price changes so much.
Yeah.
And everything was expensive, and my stores couldn't afford it. My orders, my business, like we took a big hit. I don't remember the numbers at this point, but it was like, oh my God, thank God we had started Swim, because it was something that could carry the company. But the ready-to-wear was really suffering because of the price points. And
you didn't decide to change the material?
We did.
Yeah, you did.
And we made a change to switch to polyester.
Oh my God.
It was honestly, so we've got to bring ourselves, people, stay with me. It changes again, but we bring ourselves like this. It was a very viable, affordable, and the options were, at the time, we're like, okay, it didn't feel like shitty, it felt like an alternative. And so many people were using these materials. I mean, look, the majority of clothes in our world right now is a synthetic blend.
Of course.
I'm looking at you and I'm saying, okay, everything you're probably wearing is 100%
I'm into fashion, cotton, it's all cotton. I'm into cotton.
Right, of course.
Sorry.
Of course not. No.
Organic cotton.
Yes, it's good. But in the world, the majority of everything you look at now is a blend, if not fully synthetic. So it wasn't this it was crazy because my soul is not a synthetic. It was like, ooh. But we made the change, and it was a matter of, keeping the business going. Yeah. And it was also an incredible thing because we keep going a little, we keep riding this way. I think we made the change in probably 2010. The business really then is able to flourish, grow, because we're making these dresses at this price point, people are buying it, and then I hit a wall.
A virtual wall.
Yeah, I smashed into a wall.
Bam.
No, a moral, an ethical, spiritual.
What did you realize?
That I couldn't be a part of this industry. And so I started to feel probably a few years, like maybe 2 years before I did anything. I was like, oh, whoa, this is not good. I started to learn more about the level of waste, the footprint across the fashion industry, the chemical output, the harm that was just coming out of really like every touch point of the fashion industry. And this was really, okay, so there were brands that were already in the work of sustainability, of course. Like there's like an Eileen Fisher, Stella McCartney.
Was here already.
Patagonia.
Patagonia, of course.
Of course. But it wasn't like at all the conversation, right? There's some people.
Yeah.
And
the conversation arrived during the COVID, no? Really? When did it happen?
I don't even know, a little bit earlier. So
17. Maybe when I started my podcast,
18?
it was something. 2017, 18. Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
So by the time I really crashed out on it, it was 2015.
Yeah.
And my son, maybe 2014. My son was 3. He was born in 2011. And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is his legacy. I'm going to leave him just piles of things
Plastic,
with my name sewn in it. And like, for what? I've made so many things. I don't have to, what are we doing here? And I don't know how to change it. Like, I don't even know. And so I went at the time to my director of production. She was running all the production, and she was on maternity leave and just had her baby and sitting there on break. And we're best friends to this day. She's one of my closest people. And I sat down on her couch and I just started crying and said, we should close. We need to close. And she was...
But you were doing well.
We were doing well.
Okay.
We were probably at the peak of our business, which is still, the whole business was always never a huge business. Like I was maybe, at my peak, like 18 million, 17 or 18. It wasn't tiny, but it wasn't, like when we look at these businesses now.
Yeah, 1 billion.
No, I was never $1 billion business.
You're not a licorn.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a $1 billion company.
I'm working on it. My next one's going to be huge.
Next one, of course. Of course. Wow. Mara.
Woo, get in now, guys.
All right.
So I said, let's close.
Let's close.
I can't do. I was like, I don't even know what to do. This close. This sucks. So we can't do this.
Oh my god.
And she
said no.
She's a Capricorn.
She's like me. Okay.
You saw? Okay. What day are you?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. What day?
The day. 24.
December 24.
Yeah, December 24. What does it mean?
You're a Capricorn. You're like this.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And I'm an Aries, Bélier.
Bélier.
Yeah, so it's a different thing.
It's quite different.
It's quite different.
My brother is Bélier as well.
Your brother?
Yeah, my little brother.
Do you get along? Oh, your brother and your little boy?
No, my little brother.
Your little brother.
Yeah, my little brother.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah, and my wife is Sagittarius,
Okay.
and my big brother as well.
Yeah, that's.
And we are not supposed to get along very well.
It's
Capricorn.
a different thing.
Yeah.
But the Sag is like fiery too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for you.
Yeah.
So I go to my Capricorn.
Yeah.
And I say, we have to close. And she goes,
No way.
no. Yeah, the Capricorn goes, no way. And that's when we began. And we began to figure it out. And so it went on to about 11 years of the work that we did that was really ultimately the most meaningful work that from the brand. So
what did you start with?
What did we start with? We started first by really auditing everything that we were doing, from our partnerships, our supply chain, like who we were working with, who, we kind of approached it from a multi perspective, obviously environmentally, and also like from the human-centric perspective. Okay, we've got the humans and we have the animals and we have the planet. And those really, they can be so macro and huge, and then they can be really micro down to like our office and down to, how each employee is treated, what everything looks like here, to anybody sitting on a sewing machine across the world.
Okay.
Right?
Where you were producing at the time?
All over. At the time when we made the decision, we were producing in New York, in Los Angeles. All of our swimwear was being made in Los Angeles. We were producing a lot of knitwear in Peru, and we were producing the synthetic stuff was happening in Asia, India for embellishments and all of the embroidery and those types of things.
What was the DNA of a brand? Or would you?
What was the DNA?
Yeah, the DNA. I mean, the DNA.
At that time, before we changed, or when we made the decision?
I mean, what is Mara Hoffman? What is the vibe?
I think
ethnic. It's not ethnic at all.
No, I mean, it's gone through periods of that. And I think that really the interesting part of it, honestly, is that because at my core, I'm an artist, the brand has always reflected where I am and where I've been. So it's always kind of been a response to the part of my life I'm navigating and have been. And I think that was one of the beautiful parts about not taking on partners or not putting it through like the brand machine that was then going to take it and make it for profit, every decision you make. We would have never been able to do the things that we had the flexibility, and I was able to make decisions that if anyone in there in like major finance roles would have absolutely said no. So we were at this top point of the brand. We had moved into this amazing showroom on 18th and 5th Ave, big, so much money, spent so much money building it out, like $300,000 building out this place, getting it ready. And then I was like, we're changing everything. And so we started with the auditing of seeing what we were doing. We moved immediately out of any synthetic fibers in the ready-to-wear. It took a little longer.
The next season. Wow.
The next season that we were beginning. Yeah. So I think I went to her in December or January. And so we finished producing whatever was getting produced. And then the next collection started there. And so our materials switched. We found like an alternate swim fabric. So we were using so much synthetic in the swim, like the spandex and like nylon blends, and then we were able to move into a recycled, which was fine. It was a good first alternative there. Okay. And then as far as the ready-to-wear went, we moved out of our synthetics across ready-to-wear and moved into prioritized natural fibers, prioritized at this point at the very beginning, prioritized organic natural fibers. Later we would end up, switching that priority to first a recycled, and then regenerative, and then organic. Okay. But at the very beginning, the first step would be to find an organic cotton, move into organic linens, and then hemp was a very big fabric for the brand. And we were able to...
How was it received by the buyer?
It was hard because it looked so different. And a big part of, I think, why I disconnected from the brand right before that was I didn't want to wear anything. I was like, ugh, I don't want to wear this. I don't want to tell women to wear this. I'm like, it's not who I am. And I couldn't just go in as a job and be like, okay, it's the same thing of like, I don't want to go and just draw clothes for the sake of putting it. I've always felt an immense responsibility in the role that I play, and that's to have a direct line, particularly to women, to be able to say, let me help you. Let me offer you something that makes you feel better through your expression. It's a very important job, I believe, to be able to help and support and bring women into fuller levels of expression, no matter what the medium is. Whether it's through fashion, it's through writing, it's through telling their stories, it's through therapy, it's through whatever it is. Doctors, like to help elevate human beings is an important part, especially when you look at sustainability like through that lens of the planet never is going to be able to recover without the humans doing that first. Like the humans need to become well in order for the planet to become well. We can't bypass human beings getting better right now and just expect for a planet to become better when we're living on it is like, sick in so many ways. Yeah. And so much of that is through like what feels like maybe not so important, but I mean, the way that women are held in a society and in a culture is always going to reflect back to the entirety of the culture and then the planet. I've always seen it as this straight line. Yeah. You have the women and then you have the planet. Yeah. Follow that line. Follow it. And so you can see it in small ways, in tribal ways, and you can see it in larger society. Anyways, you get the point. So I've always really held the position of offering a woman something to wear and what it means for her to choose that piece of clothing, and what it means on an emotional level when she stands in front of a mirror. It was my favorite part of doing it, would be honestly, physically, to stand behind a woman. Like when we had the store, it was incredible, and I could do this. And I could put something, suggest something to her, put it on her body, and watch the way she saw herself in the mirror. And it's subtle, and it's not this huge thing that, okay, the planet's different. Yeah. But to see a woman look at herself in the slightest bit more elevation, whether it's a feeling of confidence, of belonging, of sensuality, of its power, whatever the adjective is for that woman, to help get her there a little bit, it's like the butterfly effect. She carries that, and her day changes, and the people she interacts with change. So it's a powerful tool to dress a woman.
Of course.
And so being able to switch to these fibers then that weren't only environmentally less harmful, they were also much more less harmful in the human body. So to think about like the dyes we put on our bodies, the synthetics that are rubbing against our skin, all of these things, and like you can't say that you care about women and you're like putting them in plastic clothing or in dyes that are, you know, messing with their hormones. It's like you can't do that. To be able to shift. Okay, so what was the response? I took a very long approach to this. The response was predominantly, why did you change? Who cares? What? Like nobody cares about sustainability. So much of that. And this was the very beginning. And we were like, okay, like
I care.
I care. Yeah. And I'm going to have to figure out how to run a business. And it was a huge, like, we went from being at the highest point of the brand to being like, bump. And then again, always having, this has been a gift too, I think because we weren't owing investors or having to show our profits every season, report to anyone, we could be like, okay, we know how to surf, man. Like, get on your stomachs. We're going to, you know, get close. This is when we work hard until we like see the wave. And I would always sort of I'd use two analogies. So a lot of surfing for the team. And then I would use Matthew McConaughey, the actor, as an analogy in the sense that he was so great at romantic comedies, right? Like he did all those romantic comedies, and he could have done those for the rest of his life and like been a billionaire. But at some point he was like, oh, I need to do Dallas Buyers Club. Like I'm going to need to lose a lot of weight and really step into my acting. And so I would use the Matthew, go to my team, guys, we're going to really have to Matthew McConaughey this.
That's funny.
It's going to be hard, but we're going to do this. Okay. So Matthew, if you're listening, thanks, man. You've really been the light in my tunnel.
So funny.
So...
You did it.
Yeah, we figured it out. We got small. I was never like, I wasn't like I was ever used to having a lot of money. So what, you know, I was like, okay, great. We're going to have our budgets cut. We're not going to have the money. Like, cool. What's new?
But did you have to get laid of people?
I think we got a little smaller at that time, but not in like not like COVID style. Yeah. But we got smaller, and then.
Did you panic? Kind of.
Like now in hindsight, I'm like, I don't know. I think I was also like, fuck them. Like we're going to, you know, like we've got this and we'll figure it out. I didn't like panic set in COVID. This was more like, it's a challenge. I believe in this. I don't care if you don't get it yet. And then the right people were getting it. And the thing about when we made that shift was that the industry, the people in it that were doing this work were so responsive to us and so supportive. Like Dana, the woman I was telling you, the Capricorn, who eventually became our VP of Sustainability, she reached out. She started making every connection, called the people at Stella McCartney, Eileen Fisher, the coalitions that were working, like the organic cotton trades, boom, 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 everyone. And anyone who was truly heart-centered in this work were so excited that we were asking them for help. Like, where do we find this fabric? And they're like, here's where you find this fabric. Where in this industry, it's incredibly proprietary. Yeah. Like everyone would like hold they keep everything.
That's true.
And so this was cool.
Yeah.
And in turn, then we were able to do the same thing. It's like we started to understand our process and our supply chains. We were thrilled
You were on a mission.
to give it to other people. Like, great, you want to do this? Here's our source. Here, everyone's like, and then eventually the industry caught up, and the people that at first were like, we don't love this, like, we're not going to pay more money. Everything costs more money. Our price points went up, and then like maybe 2 years later, they were like, oh,
Finally,
cool. Do you want to be on, in our magazine? Do you want to be this? Do you want to, and so we sort of became.
There was a demand on that.
Yeah, it's slow.
Yeah.
And we were already in our footing. So it wasn't about like we were trying to catch up as a marketing tool. We were really already moving into it because it was so authentic to who we were and what we believed in. Yeah. And anybody in that company, if they were working with me, they believed in this. It was very like, there was a little bit of a cult in that.
Yeah. Mara Hoffman.
Yeah, man.
And did you were you a B Corp? No, did you become a B Corp company or something?
We didn't,
like that?
because honestly, it was like another $10,000 that we're like, you know what, let's put it towards this. Everything was always a negotiation of, does it matter so much? We're going to do all the same things that a B Corp asked for, but like, can we live without the certificate and put the 10,000 towards like a women's coalition in India who's able to do regenerative farming work? Like, let's do that. Yeah. Let's do this. So it was like,
efficient.
We were never really
into marketing stuff.
I don't know. I think B Corp's awesome. And if we had had the money, we would have absolutely, it would have been like, sure, yeah, let's do that.
And then COVID.
And then COVID?
Yeah, COVID.
Oh, yeah, man. It was...
When is that? When is it? 2 years after? No, after?
No, let's see. So we established, 5 years.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe 6, something like 6 years into the sustainability
and before
work.
COVID, it was like...
We found our ground.
Yeah.
We were like, we're good, Like we had our problems, but we were good.
How many resellers did you have at the peak? 100, 200?
Oh my God. Before I switched to the sustainability stuff, I was probably at 400.
Wow.
And then we broke it to maybe 150. Like
oh my God.
But so much of it we chose too, because there were these partners that, we broke up with big department stores that
didn't make sense.
Yeah, we were like, wow,
it's not in your vibe.
It's not right. And the clothes, everything looked different.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these stores we were in too, it fit the old vibe, but it didn't fit what we were doing. So,
and when did you have your shop? When did you open your shop?
I had right after COVID, 21.
Okay, d'accord. And the D2C was big? No, you didn't have any websites.
So DTC was, yeah, of course. So before we went to DTC, we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Hold on.
What is this?
They test the saw twice a day in case that's the firehouse, in case they have to saw. The hot firemen are testing.
The hot firemen?
Yeah, the saw in case they have to saw something to get in. So they have to make sure it works 2 times a day.
Wow.
So hold on. I'm going to drink water.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, so D2C was big.
Okay, so yeah, D2C was right before COVID. It was 70% wholesale and 30% DTC. So we had all these wholesale partners, and then COVID hit, and so many of these big partners, and I say partners like very loosely, canceled everything, and we're like, sorry, we're not taking the orders.
Oh my God.
And we were sitting on all of these clothes, and it was so hard. And that's when, I think everyone everywhere, and especially if you were running a manufacturing type business that wasn't like sweatsuits during the pandemic. I mean, I don't know what else people were saying, right? Like people weren't wearing dresses and weren't buying the things so much.
Yeah.
But we had an established fan base and customer who supported us, and we did everything we could. But we used COVID as a time to really shift the structure of the business. We flipped it.
Okay.
So we had just built this major website, and we decided, let's go fast. It was supposed to be a 5-year plan to flip the proportions of it. But we got to COVID and we're like, look, all these people canceled anyways. Let's own our business. Let's bring it. We're going to have to sell it. Yeah. So it looks like DTC is going to be our
new way of doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we did. And I had to cut my team in half. It was all the things. but we survived it. And then 2023 came, and it was like this, you sort of saw what was happening with people in fashion. I think that if they hadn't really figured out their issues in 2020, and in 2020, all your issues showed up. Like if you were struggling with something, you were really going to have to look it in the eye. But there was all of this like government payout.
Yeah.
So you didn't really have to fix it. You could sort of kind of like patch it together.
Was it the case in the US as well? They give you some money?
Yeah, they gave us some money.
Really? Like in France? I don't know.
Did they give you money in France?
Yeah, I mean for the business world.
Yeah, they gave us money here too.
They give us a lot of money, and 2 years later it was a big drama because you had to give back the money.
Yeah, we had to give back, and we didn't know we were gonna. Same.
Yeah, it kills a lot of business.
It sucked. Yeah, and like by 23.
Yeah.
And so all the issues that you really hadn't fixed came back. It started to haunt you. And for us, our issues were inventory and...
Of course, like every brand.
And
I mean,
money.
like a lot of brands, of course.
Yeah. And like having the cash flow and yeah. And so I think also I started to get to that place of feeling so tired of the same vibe, the same storyline of, scarcity. And always being in this place, like, I sort of explain it, like, it didn't match who I was. Always being in this place, like, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. Like, that's such a vibe. It's such like a low frequency to always feel that you don't have enough to do the thing.
Yeah.
Where in who I am as a being, I've spent the majority of my life so committed to myself and my inner world. It's so who I am and my spiritual practices that it was so kind of against that.
Yeah.
This idea that there wasn't enough, where when I live in like true alignment to myself, it's totally, I have everything I could ever want. And so I'm living in this outer reflection of it going, what am I doing here? Like, this can't be like, it's like banging your head up against the wall constantly and understanding that it wasn't something that I mean, I'm sure we could have done things differently, of course, but it was an industry-wide thing. And the out way of it was to raise money or to bring, And so I got to that point with my team and with looking at the company and saying, our choice right now is, to bring in an investor and bring in money. So we built this beautiful deck. And then as soon as the deck was finished and I looked at it, it was so pretty. It had all of our accomplishments, all the stuff we had done in sustainability, all the partnerships with these like next gen fabric, like fiber mills that were making really cool things. We had done so much in the space. I'd won the award with the CFDA, like the environmental, like a big award in the US in the fashion industry, all the things. And it's all there, looking at it, okay, cool. And I went to maybe 2 meetings and sat in these rooms with these dudes.
Doesn't feel right.
And I was like,
no way.
I'm gonna die. Like, I was like, again, why? Like,
why?
Like, really, why?
Why?
What do I have to keep saying or doing here?
Yeah.
Should make more clothes? Like, okay, do we really need me to make more clothes? No. And so then I landed and I got to it and I kind of got to this idea that was, okay, we could make another beautiful collection. We could make another beautiful partnership dress, But I think closing my brand is probably going to be the most important thing I could do ever, and going to be way more important than anything I could make right now, is letting people watch somebody do it and like be alive and be like, okay, we get to end things. We get to finish parts of our life. We get to die.
Yeah.
And we should be. And we should be allowing each other to do that. We should be kind of in more permission. And it isn't about quitting. I did 24 years. Like, what do you do to win? You do it until you die? You keep doing a fashion brand until you're 80? Is that when you've won? Or do you come to an understanding that there's like a beginning, a middle, and end to even the things that feel like they're your entire life sometimes? And that's what I did. And so I closed the brand, and I announced it in May of 2024. And then I finished everything in August or September of 2024. And now I've been in this like new, beautiful, weird afterlife and in between of it all.
How did you make the decision in terms of because you are explaining it quite quickly and easily, and going through this must have been very difficult. It's like the end of the world. It's
it
like
was heartbreaking. It was so much of it was
22 years of work. It's crazy.
24
years of work.
Yeah.
It's like super difficult to make that kind of decision. And you can tell you to yourself, okay, I've done all of that for killing it. It's so difficult.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was like all of the things.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. I was just, it broke my heart. But
and it was your name.
My name.
Yeah.
And also such a reason why I couldn't just bring in a partner. I couldn't sell this thing. So many people ask, well, I hope you're going to sell it. It's like, of course I can't sell this. Like everything that's behind it and the work that we did to like make it, give it a reason to exist. Like the ways in which we were producing and doing, anybody who would see a profitability to this would have changed those processes. And what, to have my name on that, or to like find my name all over, and it would have been a nightmare. So sad that I felt like I'm one of the very rare people in this industry also who I walked out with owning my name. I own my name, and I was able to walk out clean with everyone being paid and taken care of, and taking care of myself enough to have time off. And I was like, what a rare and beautiful thing to be able, and at this point in my life, like, I get it, I'm not a kid, but I understand that I have this whole life, a new version of it that sits in front of me. It's taken me a lot of healing work too. And we're talking about 1.5 years now that you're sitting and talking to me. And through that process of going through the ending and going through even this space after it, there's been a lot of, I've had to really like be with it, and so much that's come up of like at the end and even after, fear of disappearing, fear of like who I actually am.
Yeah,
like who am I? I'm Mara Hoffman. Like this is who the world loves. This was my purpose. This is why people are interested in me, is because I make these things. And I make them feel this way when they buy these things, and I make these beautiful images, and they like to look at those images, and that's Mara Hoffman. And so it's been, talk about a spiritual kind of invitation to come into beginning to really understand who you actually are when you strip away the things that you sell to people. And I think that was such a big part too, is like, what does it feel like? What would it feel like to me? What has it felt like to not be in the act of selling people things that at my core I knew they did not need? And it was always my way of, like my art and my expression always ended with a sale. Like, you got to buy this. Like, exit through the gift shop, like I was always in a transactional relationship through social media, through all of it, of buy this bathing suit, buy this dress, and when you stop doing that after so long of doing it, it's a very interesting thing that happens to the system, where it like gets this thing released from it. I'm like, whoa. And sometimes it has felt really scary, because I, have had to be really diligent about my own. It's back out with the song.
Yeah.
He's like, one more time for the guy with the podcast.
Thank you.
He's like, this is for you, man. Yeah.
So funny. Is he sexy at least?
I hope so. Just go scream, take off your shirt.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, this emptiness. How did you manage it? I mean, and in terms of self-confidence as well, because it's something kind of been through as well with my brand. At some point we wanted to close it, to stop it. We make a break, and I've been through that, and me and my wife, because I've done this brand with my wife, and it was something like, okay, who we are, what we're gonna do. It's a fader. It feels like a fader. Are we gonna start something new again? What kind of competencies do we have? Can we get employed again? That kind of question. And how you've been through, and what was your answer to that kind of interrogation?
Yeah, I mean, that's all the things that you kind of have to face when you make such a big decision like this. Is and the whole, most of the response from so many people, always the immediate response is, what are you doing next?
Yeah, of course.
What's next? And I was like, well,
I don't know.
Like, I literally, it's like asking someone to die and give birth at the same time. Like, imagine how hard that would be, to be dying and like trying to give birth. And I'm like, can I just finish dying? Like, allow me that.
That's a good analogy.
Right? And then I need time to like grow something quietly, and like what from who I am now, as opposed to who I was at 22 years old.
Yeah.
I'm very much the same human being, and very much I'm a different human being. So
what's next?
Yeah, right. Yeah. What's next? And so I'm just now, right? Like, I'm just kind of creepy. A great question.
Thank you for coming.
Great question.
So what's next? Do you need something next? Do you need it?
I don't know. No, it's like, I think that's been like the big, really cool and hard sort of part of, and I've been so lucky to be able to take some space. Like, I've got to say that it's easy for me to say like, I can just take my time, because I was able to exit and leave myself some room to not have to immediately go and, find a job in the fashion, or like go and do something. And so I've been able to breathe, and at a perfect time in my life, because I feel like it's really interesting right now, coming into this next, I'm going to be 49 next week on Monday. And I don't know, it's a real trip. It's like you look at life a little bit different now. Like, you have this understanding and this wisdom built in at this point, and a way of understanding who you are that you couldn't have before. I couldn't have understood this in my 30s, and even in my 40s, or like my early 40s, because I was so just like deep in the doing, in the work of it, in the generating, in the manufacturing, in the output of it. And it's just like, it's so kind of important how I step into this next role of myself. And I mean the role of just like existence, the role of like how I live in my body, what my practices are, all those things. I know it sounds a little oof, but it's everything. And so when I know what's next, and what's always, it's not what's next, it's what's always, is creation and being able to express myself and being of purpose. And those are the parts that were so beautiful about the brand. There's so many beautiful parts about the brand. But the idea that I had a vessel that I could pour my creativity and my vision into, and it lived somewhere. I love that. And I know that it might not just be one vessel, but like, I need a holding for it, and that's coming. And I know that I need to stay in service and purpose, probably continuing for women and always for the planet in that way. But those are really important parts of my existence. So right now, what am I doing?
Did you get some help to go through that?
Like people to help guide me and be with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but I've
coach or whatever.
Yeah, I've always been also like a seeker in that way.
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time, probably over 20 something years, in psychedelic work also, which was a really significant part of my life in the way that I see the world and the way that even I ran the brand.
Yeah.
So much came from the things that I would understand through that work. And so sometimes I think like I honestly owe a lot of what I was able to do at the end of the brand and the decision to close it to the times I spent like dying in ceremonies, like dying in psychedelics, like where I'm like, oh, I'm totally dead. And then being able to like find myself again, be like put back together and remember who I am. And so I'm not saying that that's the only pathway to this. It's just one of them, and one that I found early on that I worked with. But beyond the psychedelics work, I've had guides, and I've had therapists, and I've had spiritual practices, and meditation has been probably like my key formula of my adult life is learning that and being able to come back to it and really practice it. And I can't imagine being able to just function in this world right now without having a practice, without having a meditation practice. I go in and out of it, and I've gone through like times where I'm not doing it at all, and then where I'm like, this is everything. I'm doing it all the time.
What kind of meditation is it?
Well, it started as TM.
Transcendental meditation.
Yeah, transcendental meditation. That's how my pathway in, how I learned. And now I'm in clairvoyant school.
Clairvoyance.
Right. So, like to develop your psychic abilities. So I'm about 10 weeks into it's called the Clairvoyant School, the Clairvoyant School of Hawaii. And it's this center that teaches people how to access the part of your brain that is psychic. And so for all of us, we have this ability in our brains, and to tap in, we use such a small portion of our brains. And so when you start to learn how to access these other parts, you have an ability to have much more awareness, much more intuition, the ability to kind of see beyond, like maybe what's just like right here, but to be able to see and sense more. And so I've been studying that, and so my meditation practice has changed quite recently, where I'm activating those tools quite a bit and learning that practice. And I write. So I started writing a lot towards the end of the brand, where I was like, okay, everything. I started doing the artist's way. For anybody who's ever, it's a really excellent tool. It's like a workbook and a book that goes with it. And every day you write 3 pages. You wake up in the morning, and before you start going into your things, you literally like clear your brain. And at first it's really hard because 3 pages is a lot. And you're like, I have nothing to say. Ugh, I hate this. And it literally, the pages could be like, yuck, ugh, I don't want to be here, blah, 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 blah. And you're basically just like clearing out your brain, clearing it out, starting to create room, starting to see like what's actually happening in your emotional body, what needs looking at. I highly recommend this for anybody, and you don't have to be an artist to do this. It's for anybody who's literally going through life, or particularly people that are going through transformations or going through anything that's like creating a little friction or challenge. The Artist's Way, look it up. I'm sure it's like translated into many languages, and it is a lifesaver. And it taught me a practice of writing. And now I start my days with that. I start with writing, and then I go into meditation, and then I go into creation. Right now I'm about to put out a website. I shot all of the campaigns for the brand for the last like 11 years of the brand. I shot and art directed and was just so involved in the visuals of the brand. And so I do that for other people also. And I really love...
You're still doing this?
Yeah.
For other people?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love being able to come in and help bring like vision and life to like an emotion or a feeling. And I love shooting, and And I don't want that to be like, I've thought about when this launches, it isn't like, now I'm a photographer, now I'm an art director. It's like, no, man. At this point, it's just an and.
Yeah.
And I'm this, and I do this, and I do this. And I want it forever to be just like additions, ands, as opposed to some definitive identity by what I output. Like, I learned that lesson.
The people want to put you in a box, and at some point you need to make a living as well. So
for sure, but this is a
you need to brand
viable
yourself.
way.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one way, through being able to create for other people and help people find their voices and their visual identities. I know that that's something that I'm good at doing, and I like doing it. So it's joyful, and it's not like I've got to go to work. Yeah. It's more like, oh, I love doing this for you. If I get, if it works.
Are you are working with the CFDA as well, no?
I'm a member of the CFDA. Yeah.
And you are giving help to young designer?
Right now, I'm not doing that. I've done that. I did that a lot with the brand.
Yeah.
And right now, I work differently in a way. I have a few people that I work with a little bit more on a coaching level, where it kind of goes, it runs the gamut. Like, I work on meditation with them, and then I work on creative output with them. And I do a lot of listening for them as they're going through their own creative process. I call it creative doula-ing, like helping them.
Dueling.
Yeah, like helping. Doula, helping them sort of with their own process of what they're trying to bring into the world. And I really like doing that with people. Like really looking at them and hearing them and trying to help them find their ultimately their self-love, and then through that their way of expressing, like, crystal clear.
Yeah. If you had to do it again,
please no.
Again,
or I don't know.
Would you start a brand? I mean, it's so overrated, a brand. It's crazy. I say this here. Not that I wouldn't be, if the right, most beautiful, intentional invitation came to me in the way of, like, Mara, like, create with, we want to bring, like, the most beautiful clarified vision of you into the world, and this is the care and the responsibility and the process and all the things that we're going to do around it, I'd be interested or curious. But will I start a brand and run a brand and go through all of that? Not like my system did it. At this point, I don't want to ever personally run a brand again. And have employees and do all of that. And also, I'm so much more into humans and, like, artists than I am into brands now. I'm exhausted by brands. Yeah. I'm exhausted in brands talking to me, trying to make me feel something, convince me of something. And it's an ultimate way of, like, the purchase, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. And I love my friends and the people in the world that are doing good things and making things. And I'm not, I get it. I just am a little like, I did that for 24 years. Yeah. I'm just like, But the terrible thing about our world is you need to make a living.
I have to make a living. And I know that I'm just, like, coming out of my rest now. Yeah. And I'm really not worried. Like, I know that my energy and my offering is strong. And as long as I don't get, like, terrified or like, oh my God, I can't go back to those feelings of not having enough. And so everything is like, my number one job is to, like, keep my mindset and my system. We're good. We're going to be good. We're going to do this. And even in this time, like, things have shown up for me by just being not grabbing, like, it's really hard for things to come to you when you're, like, terrified. And when you're scared that nothing is going to come to you, things usually have a hard time getting to you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It comes so much easier when you're like,
peace and full.
I'm good. And then it's like, I don't know if it's just like people can feel that energy. It's a little bit more attractive. People want to be near that. They want to work with that a lot more than they want to work with fear and scarcity. So honestly, and I sit at this point, I'm like, I've been doing beautiful shoots. I have consulted, like, on creative projects and in brands, been able to go in and do that work. I haven't not been working during this time. I've been, able to make money actually, but very kind of, my whole feeling right now is that I'm a hummingbird. Like a hummingbird, the beautiful little hummingbirds. And it's like different flowers. And my only job is to like drink from the flowers and stay in the energy and be a little bit mysterious and be in the beauty of a hummingbird and not be worried. Like a hummingbird and a horse are very different energies. So like I just keep coming back. Hummingbird, go to the next flower and the next flower until you know like where you want to put more energy. So yeah.
And do you have a Substack?
I do have a Substack. Yes, I have a Substack, which has been actually really sort of, I thought I was going to kill it with the Substack. I was like, Substack, and I like went out real strong. And I've really noticed too in this period that my energy is kind of inconsistent. So no matter how ambitious I think I am in moments, I kind of then totally fall off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like set myself up to feel like I can't keep up. And I think I'm still detoxing.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I'm like, dude, when I was running my business, I would do like 100 things in a day. I was an animal. I was like, and now it's like, it's so hard to do 5 things in a day. It's hard to sometimes get 2 emails out. I'm like, what is going on? And it could be my age. It could be just like the cycle of my life. I don't know.
No, it's too
But it's also like, I'm ready to like slowly rebuild, like, okay, 8 things in a day will be like awesome. Like I never want to do 25 or 100 things in a day. I don't need to, but like 8 thoughtful, intentional things. And also really understanding my value. Like this is a big thing too. And I can say that's from this age, this perspective of being like, oh, cool. Like I know when you really deeply believe your value, like you believe in yourself in that way, the world starts to do that too. And it takes a minute, but like if you think that you're worthless, it's really like, even if you don't say anything, people feel it. It's like responded to in that way. I know what my vision is worth at this point. And I say no to things that don't match it, and it's been working out. And most things now that come in are like matching me at that. And I don't know, I can't explain it, but I think there's energy that runs through every single thing that we do in every moment of our life. And so the energy that you hold, the energy that you project, it's going to call in, like look around in your life, the people that are near you, the things that are coming towards you. And if you don't like it, like just begin to readjust your energy. And it usually comes by going back inward. Like getting quiet, starting to write it down, like see what's happening on the inside.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's you're almost 50?
49. I've got
49.
1 more year. Come on, give me the year. I got a lot to do in this next year. But isn't that a trip? Like, I don't know. How old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just turned 40.
Yeah, I just turned 40.
Yeah, and that's a whole new world.
Oh, yeah.
You just stepped into the same. These like decade turners are...
Yeah, it's a big thing.
It's so big.
2 babies.
Yeah, 2 babies. My baby's 15. He's going to be 15. And like, that's a whole trip. And it's like, you see how quickly that starts to like get to the end of this version of being a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next? I mean, what? No, but
No, do it. Go.
No. What's
Try.
next? No, what's next for? What's next? I mean, in
This is it. This is
creative. No,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking about the creative world.
Okay.
Where we are living now. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like it's going so fast with this AI
so fast.
thing.
I don't know.
With réseaux sociaux, the social network. I mean, those wars. We are in a tipping point. It's difficult to project ourselves into something optimistic, and but at the end of the day, you still need to do something. You need to carry on, make a money, raise your babies,
and create
and
like we really do. It's like the human experience here. Like I think we were really put here is to feel joy, is to create, is to support, help, connect. All these things. So once we feel fully defeated and stop doing that, I feel like the game is done. Like the human experience has played out its experiment, right? So like our revolution includes creation, right? But to your point, I don't know. I look at like the way that my son is seeing the world and the way that he responds and interacts with it versus what I know and how I do and how I grew up doing it. It's different. But all I can really do at this point is like continue to get better at my own expression and be that much more authentic to what makes me who I am and what makes me different from the rest of the world. And I think as we do move so quickly into this homogenized digital AI version of creation, that there will always be the contraction to that and the backlash of that longs for humanity, that longs for the things that only us, flesh and blood and bones and cells can do, and this is where nature comes in and how we relate to it, and how our biggest also line of defense at this point is to stay connected to nature as everything speeds along, because it's so easy. It's almost built to disconnect us from it. So our reliance goes into that, and then they run it. Like then it's like the robots run the whole thing once we have disconnected or feel that we no longer are one with or are, belong to nature. And so I feel like a big part of what we do in this moment, and I'm not saying like revolt against AI, like fight it, don't do, like, I don't know. I actually really don't know how I fully feel. I know that I'm fearful of it. I know that when I look at it and I see what's happening, I see potential outcomes that are terrifying and that are moving so fast in a world that I don't want my kid in. So I'm afraid for that. But then I'm like, okay, well, once I collapse into fear, what am I actually going to, like, what can I do? So it's sort of like go the opposite. What is the counter to that? The counter is reconnect, reclaim, go back to nature as much as you can and come back. It's everything we're saying. Go back in. AI cannot do that. Like AI cannot be the inner voice. It cannot be the connectedness to trees and soil and whatever it is that you call, spirit or God or universe or whatever it is. Like AI can try. It can become your therapist. It can become, I think, for some people, a version of God or of companionship and love, but it's our humanity in the end that is going to, make it or break this thing here.
Yeah. Do you use it?
I do. I use it lightly. I use it in ways, I do. I use it to check my grammar. Sometimes I ask it to become a professional tarot card reader and give me interpretations of tarot cards.
So funny.
How else do I use it? Yeah, that's, but I see these ads now, or I scroll, they're not even ads, they probably are actually ads of people talking about Claude right now, and they're like, this is how Claude is going to do every single part of your life. You need to give it access to your emails, you need to give it access to your computers, to this, and I can't believe you're not doing that. There's a lot of this really kind of, I don't know if you've been getting those,
no, not
where
yet.
It's almost like, well, great, now you will. You're welcome. But it's it looks like a normal person, but they're like, have you not changed all of your prompts on Claude? Here's how you move all of your information from chat over here. And this is the program. And then you go, and it feels like at first it hits you oh, this is going to make my, okay, cool. Yeah. And then you kind of you got to feel it in your bones a little, like feel it in your body and be like, wait a minute, hold on, what? Like, give it access to everything I've got. Like, warning, red flags. Do you use it?
I use it a lot, yeah.
Like, through every part of your life?
Yeah.
So what's your feeling? Like, where do you sit? When I say these things, what do you, like, how do you feel? Like, what comes up for you?
No, I feel the same as you. I mean, it's a bit of a warning, and you've got this FOMO thing, you know? It's like, okay, you don't use it. You don't use Claude, what's the name? Code Claude, and there's this new one, Claude something, where you can give access to your email, etc.
Are you doing that?
Yeah,
Do you have it running your email and stuff?
Not yet.
But you feel okay.
I'm feeling about it. I'm trying to handle it. But this is why I'm talking about the FOMO. You know, it feels like if you don't do that, you're gonna get you're gonna disappear. You're gonna get lost. You're gonna lose your job. I mean, somebody's gonna use it, and you're gonna be redundant. You're gonna become redundant.
So, like, your job here, do you think that AI could do what you're doing?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm a bit afraid. Maybe. Why not?
Yeah, maybe.
No, but I think you just need to scan my 500 episode and talk like me and think like me, and that's it.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, it's in the system.
Yeah.
I'm almost finished.
No. See? So then it's like, so in this moment where we're like sitting across from each other and feeling this, right? Like, what's the thing that it can never do? Like, and I think that that's the question. I don't know. Like, what could it never do that, like, we're doing in this moment?
I don't know. Meditation. Let's do a meditation.
I don't know. I mean...
Yeah. Maybe we'll be able to do it. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Anyway, and what do you say to your kid?
About AI?
Yeah, I mean, about what you should do in your future.
We're learning, you know, I'm trying my best to, like, help him develop a practice of, like, just self-practice. Yeah. I'm trying to give him grounding, like, a way to learn how to ground in this world. I don't think he's going to sidestep AI. I think it's going to be a big part of his life. I mean, he's 15. Like, he's not going to avoid it. And I can't be the parent that's like, don't touch it. We're not touching AI, man. And I use it.
Yeah.
So it's not even like that's...
Yeah, but it's like the réseaux sociaux. It's like the social network.
That's the case.
You cannot tell him, don't use it if you're using it.
He just has to be, you know, honestly, I know it sounds like whatever, but like my most important job with this kid is like teaching him kindness, like how to be a good human being, how to respond to other human beings, how to help. Like, teach him how to be a helper in the world, where he sees where he can step in and help somebody or help something and remain in his humanity. I don't know.
What is your husband is doing?
He's an artist, and he's spent the past 4 years being a nursery school teacher. So he teaches 3 and 4-year-olds children. Like, he's super analog. Like he literally goes in with a ukulele. He's a cool, beautiful artist. And when we moved upstate, we sent our kid to this school there. It's a bilingual school, Spanish. My husband's family is from Cuba.
Okay.
And so they speak Spanish, my husband and my son. And this is a great school. And then...
You speak Spanish as well?
Like tiny, no, horrible, shameful. And then he started teaching there. He has a master's in teaching and was like, okay, cool. And so, but who he is, he's an artist. He's a fine artist.
And you are living outside of New York now?
Yeah, about an hour and a half north in a town near Cold Spring. And we live in the woods with trees. And it's a... Wow.
It's a bliss, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a perfect timing. It happened all at the same time. And I think spending time there during COVID also helped me make the decision around, it was like really supportive in making the decision about the brand. Nature
But you told me that you need both.
I need both. So
in New
we're in this
York.
apartment here in noisy Williamsburg, and I love my people here, and I like the energy, and I like being available, and I like collaborating, and I like staying alive creatively and energetically. Like I'm not retiring. I'm like, I want it.
Still super young.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm a baby. I'm just a baby.
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm looking to I like to be. I want to be in the conversation. I want to be alive here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is it's like half, like one day, 2 days?
I'm like 4 days, 5 days there, 2 days here, 3 days. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm like coming in for a job, if I'm shooting, if I'm consulting, if I'm like have dinners and parties or events or things, like I still,
What about New York?
What about it?
What about New York? Is New York still New York?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's like everyone always has this thing about New York, right?
Yeah.
Is it the same with Paris? Are people like, is Paris still Paris? Do they ask the same question about Paris that they do New York?
No, yeah, of course.
They do. It's the
but
same.
I think, Paris is on the, with the Jeux Olympiques and the fashion capital, etc. Still very attractive. But a lot of people are telling, because I was preparing this trip to New York, and people were telling me, "What do you go to New York?" I mean, it's bad vibe, and it's not good to go. It's not good to go to New York.
Bad vibes right now.
Yeah,
the U.S. is like the worst vibes ever.
Yeah.
Like we are like it's painful who the United States is right now, and the shit we're doing. It's disgusting and painful, and like we've never been. I mean, we're the worst vibes ever. So New York I think has always like lived in its own bubble, separate in some ways from the US, like as a whole, but it's still here. Like we still have ICE coming into New York. Like we still are dealing with the, politics and the disaster of what's happening here. But New York's always held its own because the people are so strong, and the people are really, I think most people living and building in New York. Well,
what do you love about New York?
What I love about New York, accessibility and diversity. And when I say that, it's like you can do anything. And like one day or night, I still wander into places that I've never been in 28 years of living here. 28 years I've lived here, and New York still surprises me. And it's the kind of city that does that. Like you go down a corner and there's a door, and then you end up, like last night, I got invited to go do figure drawing, like nude drawing.
Yeah.
And it's been so long since like art school, since I sat and drew and just sort of like tuned in. And we went up to this cool place, and it was like, this cool place exists. And it was like, set up so well. They had this sound system going of really good music, like pumping, and this girl like doing her thing, and all these artists sitting around drawing. And I was like, this is so perfectly New York. Like people are spending 2 hours doing the rest of their life. And a few nights before that, I went and saw this really interesting ballet performance at the Armory, Romeo and Juliet, that was like this like techie kind of interactive video dance piece. I don't know. New York is like that. New York sort of meets you in the same level in which you want to meet it. So if you want to be curious and exploratory and find bits of New York, it's there for you to do it. I don't know. New York can be exhausting too, and the energy is just like, oof. But that's why the counterpart and having nature is sort of the perfect match for it, because it can drain you so much. But New York will always have cool, and it'll also like go through cycles where things that were cool aren't cool. I mean, like any good city, things move through its cycle.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. There's a few restaurants that remain cool for like the end of time in New York, and same in Paris. I'm sure like Indochine, like you can still go to Indochine and see cool, like the most beautiful people working there, and the food is the same as when it opened, and the people that are going are still like, you still see amazing artists and filmmakers and interesting people, and you're like, cool, they like were able to do it.
You're still there.
You know, Balthazar, you can go to a Balthazar and be like, yeah, it's still got New York. You know, there's certain spots.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Mara. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
We talked about a lot.
Yeah. It's been a long conversation.
No.
But a very good conversation, very interesting.
I don't know. I think it's just like at the end, it's like encouraging people to not be afraid of ending. I'm like really into that, and really into like people getting a little bit of like love around that or support, that you don't like, it's not how long you do something that makes you win at it. It's understanding when it's done too. And like, there's so much liberation on the other side of that. Maybe that.
Yeah.
Spreading the good word about dying. It's great, guys. Do more dying.
Let's die together. Maybe to pass the baton, and we need to thank Garance Doré.
Yeah, thank you.
Putting us together.
She's wonderful. We just met each other finally, really for the first time at Copenhagen Fashion Week.
Oh, really? Recently?
Yeah, we were both there in January, and she's so lovely. And
you never came across her?
We were, I'm sure, many times in the same room with each other, but we never connected in a way of becoming friends with each other. And I think it took this long. She's also been somebody who has been one who's reinvented and has lived one part of her life and then stepped into another part. And I think I'm very interested in meeting other people too who understand that and have made it to the other side of it. It's cool. And so we had a lot to talk about on that trip, and I look forward to continuing to, become friends with her. Yeah.
Cool. Hello, Garance.
Yeah.
And to pass the baton, who would you like to listen to in my podcast?
Is it just like showcasing really, truly who are living like their lives in a unique way?
Yeah, the bold way.
Yeah, my friend Lisa Cooper, one of my best friends, who's like gone through fashion, and she's now like a psychedelic facilitator, and she's been in the club scene and LYSA. COOPER.
All right, Lisa Cooper. Dr. Cooper? No, Cinema's artist.
No, but LYSA.
LYSA.
COOPER. Let me say.
Cooper, COOPER. Lisa Cooper.
Yeah, put that in. Yeah, that's Lisa Cooper. Yeah.
2.1 million followers. Wow, she's big.
She's cool, and she has so many stories to tell, and she's like deep culture. She's like deep New York City culture. And she's cool.
And she's a psychedelic facilitator.
Yeah, but she's been everything. She's been a major stylist. She was like styling Beyoncé and Rihanna and all of like those people. And then so she moved from like fashion to psychedelics and knows every person in like New York, Paris. She's a very interesting human being.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Mara.
You're welcome.
Speak to you soon. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.